Hello folks, and welcome to our list review for our bat trip on HDTV between Nighthaunt and Kharadron Overlords. We figured we'd do this a bit differently this time, since Tom is piloting my army with my list of the Kharadron Overlords. So we figured me, Alfred, could go through the list instead, seeing as, well, you know, it's my stuff, basically. So what we or he then is going to be running here is a 2-drop Kharadron Overlords army in the Aether-runners battle formation to give 2 inches extra move on all boats, which is going to be both of the frigates here. And then in our main drop, you could say, we're running Brokk as our War Master as well as our General, together with Endrinriggers, a unit of Skywardens, and both of the boats. And then in our other drop, we're running a little Navigator here, together with both of the 10s of Arkanauts, and then another 6 of Skywardens to sum it up at a neat 1990 points, I believe, with the current changes. Heroic trait and artifact of power, we've both got both of them on our Navigator. He's running Endrinmaestro to give 2 extra inches of shooting to all infantry within 12. And he's also got the artifact of the Celestium Burst-grenade, the one that removes wards from shooting phase and onwards to the end of the turn, once per battle to an enemy unit. And gameplay-wise, this list is kind of kitted towards silly enough not making mistakes, one could argue, because everything is so squishy. But if you get in everything right, you're getting so many fight firsts that it's you can just overwhelm people if you get it in properly, basically. We're not having any Arkanauts in the War Master Regiment to not let our screens be easy targets for Slay the Entourage. And in the same vein, in the same manner, we're also having both the Endrinriggers and the Skywardens in the General's Regiment. If we want a priority target or add extra rend, usually the Endrinriggers are a really good choice for that. If you want a bodyguard for Brokk, the Skywardens can be passable. Otherwise, we usually don't have many good options in KO for Honor Guard in the current GHB anyways. It's a very fast list. We've opted out of running some other kind of strong options for Kharadron. Cunning Fleet Master is one that comes to mind, the one that lets you roll 2 dice when you redeploy and pick the highest one. Now the reason we've got Endrinmaestro instead with the range is that in my experience, usually you get more bang for the buck of always having, or kind of always having, plus 2 inches on your shooting and getting those 2 inches guaranteed away rather than another dice on the redeploy. Because there are games where that extra redeploy isn't going to matter as much, whilst extra 2 inches usually nets you more damage throughout the game. There's also the question of whether you want to run more Balloon Boys, like Skywardens or Endrinriggers, and instead run an Endrinmaestro on foot, especially to get the retreat and charge, for instance. Now, again, it kind of depends here on how you like to play and if you're screening with the boats and whatnot, if they're usually stuck in combat. Usually when I pilot this list, I try to avoid getting the boats stuck in combat, basically. Lol. But, I mean, you know, it can feel like a bit of a waste sometimes to spend points on something and then kind of expecting stuff to go wrong, if that makes sense. It's kind of like in other games. If you're gonna get a bonus if you die once in a game, preferably you wouldn't die at all. So if you're caught and dying, then maybe that's just user error and you try to just play better next time. But there are different schools of thought, and there's also a lot of value in having retreat and charge, for instance, if you're running the Endrinmaestro. And I think that's about it. I'm very excited to see how this runs against the Nighthaunt. It's also a very fast army, which is slightly worrisome in that they can just catch you even if you do everything properly with redeploying and power throwing away and all that jazz. Now we have a little bonus, I'd like to believe, in that there's not a lot of rend in general on the KO units, mostly 1 or 2 in some cases, which lends itself towards the ethereal Nighthaunt. Because then, at least theoretically, we have more of a power budget or points budget in just doing damage, lots of damage or weights of dice or stuff like that. But yeah, it's going to be a fantastic game. Lastly, I'd also like to give a shout out to the Skyport, which is the Kharadron Overlords Discord channel, where there's some proper admirals there who have some fantastic sheets on everything, on different movement shenanigans you can do, and there's just a fantastic discussion there in and about the army. But yeah, I'm gonna toss it over to Karl now to take us through his Nighthaunt.
Hello everyone, I'm Karl, and like Alfred just mentioned, I am going to play Nighthaunt in the upcoming game. I am playing the battle formation Death Stalkers, which makes it so that one of my unit can run and charge, or I can choose it to retreat and charge and not take any damage. Before it was a passive, so we could all do it all the time, which was very strong. So I understand that change for sure. Then I am playing, well, of course, my own lore and the Primal Energy manifestation, because I really, really like them. Always enjoy playing those Primal Energy, and they're good casting value, and I think that they are the correct choice when you don't have any plaster casts. Otherwise, if I had plaster casts in my list, I would probably go with the Morbid Conjuration, the Purple Sun one. It's this one or the Cogs one, the Quicksilver Sword one, whatever that one is called. I don't have them painted, so it's the Primal Energy. Then in my General's Regiment, I have Lady Olinder. I don't leave my home without her. I think she's really, really, really strong, and like -3 control score to everything within 12. The once per battle bringing stuff back. She has a nice shooting to pitch, to like plink some wounds off on things. Rend 3, damage D6. I mean, it can be 1 damage, of course, but it can also be 6. And she's two cast wizard, and that's great. Then in her regiment, we have the 2 units of 10 Hex Wraiths and my Executioner. He, I always include in every list, because I don't think Nighthaunt can be competitive without the Executioner. I always choose him as a bodyguard to Olinder, because their combo is very disgusting. So on a -1 to attack if you're in combat with Olinder, because he's bodyguard, but then also on a 2+ if you're in combat with the Executioner, you have -2 to your attacks. It's super, super strong. He has 5-up ward as well, and she has 4-up ward, so they're very tanky. It's a very nice combo. Olinder is the only one in my list that can take any Nighthaunt, so that's why she has the 2 units of Hexwraith. In case the matchup where you really wanted that rend, you could just put like anti-rend on the Hexwraiths if you want to, but generally the bodyguard is better in my opinion. The Executioner, he's the one holding my artifact and heroic trait. It's the artifact, ruler of the spirit host, so I can bring back a unit, half of its strength, and once per battle for a command point. And the heroic trait is Light Shard of the Harvest Moon. Might be the other way around actually, but one of them is called Light Shard of the Harvest Moon, and that is if he's in combat with something once per battle, you can pop this artifact or heroic trait and give everything wholly within 12 1 extra attack. Really, really nice. And I wish there was some other choices. I mean, there are other choices, of course, but I wish there was other valid choices, because it is good for sure with an extra attack. It has a lot more value on the Hexwraith than it does on the Bladegeist Revenants, because they already have so many attacks, so it actually adds up like mathematically not to that much of an increase. But on the Hexwraith it's quite valuable. Then in my other regiment I have 2 drops. In my second regiment I have Guardian of Souls, I think it's called. Never played this one yet in this edition. I usually have, instead of this one, I would probably have the Allrack, the Drowner, because that is also like, if you want top competitive play, I think Allrack, the Drowner, is needed. He's just so strong to be able to teleport the unit. But I wanted to have two different wizards in this list, because I wanted to really try and get the value of our Shade Mist Unlimited one, so make sure that you get -1 to wound on your units. So that's why I have the Guardian Soul. It's nice as well if it's in combat, it gives +1 to wound to everything, wholly within 12. He's bringing 20 block of Blade Guys Revenant and 10-man unit of Dreadscythe Harridans. Some people would probably... I had a point room to do a 10-man unit of Blade Guys Revenants instead of the Harridans. The Harridans are just so good, in my opinion, with the -1 to be wounded when they charge something. So it's a really nice counter-charge unit to have in case you don't get your Shade Mist throughs. It depends on the matchup. If it's like a heavy shooting matchup, they're not as important because you don't really care that much about the hard hitting things, or if they do like mortal wounds, a lot of mortal wounds. If you go like Cruel Boys or something, it doesn't really matter either. But generally, they're very nice with the -1 to wound. Essentially gives you like a coverage of -1 to wound on, over your entire army if you play it correctly. Because their ability also works on a counter charge, because it's a passive one. It's very strong. That's the whole list. I think it comes up to 1980 or 1960 maybe. Like I mentioned, I usually play Allrack the Drowner instead, and maybe like 2 units of 5 Hexwraith, and then fill something else. Wanted to try a little bit different. I think it's a very strong list still. Nighthaunt hasn't seen much win rate and hasn't seen much play at all, essentially, since they changed the rules. So now this corporate is not a reaction anymore. It's any hero phase, so you choose a unit for a command point that gets 5+ ward. It's a huge nerf, in my opinion, because I really like to be a reactive player. So it has pros and cons for sure. Like, I think it's a nerf or more of a con, because like I said, I like to be reactive. So if I like to see what my opponent doing and knowing where I want to do the 5+ ward. But it is a pro in the sense of, you want to really commit something and you want an all-out defense. You can then you want an all-out attack. You essentially you can always have that and the Discorporate, which is strong. So you can make sure your hero phase, you pop the Discorporate on something, you send them in and also do an all-out attack. So in that sense, it's better than before. But I still think overall it's worse, in my opinion. The list itself, not sure how we will do in a tournament, setting. Maybe 3-5 in a 2-dayer, I think. It can definitely go 3-0, I think, in a 1-day tournament. If it goes 5-0 in a 2-dayer, I am not sure. I think there's too much counters around Nighthaunt. There's so much mortal wounds and stuff. Even with all the changes to our run and charge and stuff, Nighthaunt is still really, really strong. And I think you will do well. It's quite matchup dependent, but overall, there's a lot of play always with Nighthaunt. Just make sure you roll those 4 up and you're Gucci basically. So yeah, matchup, don't really care that much about shooting, because there's no mortal damage shooting anymore. So there's just pure unrenderable saves or ethereal saves that we do against shooting. So don't care too much about them. And incredibly fast, like Hexwraith 18 inches, yeeting across the table, charging into whatever they want. Blade Guys Revenant is also super fast, so you can play very, very defensively, and then whenever you want to commit, you just commit. So Nighthaunt always have the valuable thing where you can kind of control the board state of the game. You can kind of control where everything is happening because you are the one that commit whenever you want. It is going to be interesting against this KO list though, because they are equally as fast. So we're both going to be like, I assume at least we're going to like be, you know, tiptoeing around each other, and then it's going to be a round where we just commit, and we'll see what happens from then basically. Yeah, that's it. I think the biggest counter to Nighthaunt will always be mortal damage, I think, and we really like to play against Slaves to Darkness and stuff like that. That they have heavy hitting units, and we can just tank off the 4-up saves. I hope you enjoy our upcoming battle report. Please make sure to subscribe and join our Discord if you want to have more chat. Where we, you know, mention your list, if you want feedback on list, your upcoming tournament, how to prepare, or if you just generally want to talk about a army or the state of the game or whatever you want, anything really. Show a picture of your pet, doesn't matter. Just join if you want to. Make sure to also check out a tool we're using at Hops and Drops TV called Millarchy. It's basically a way to score your battles. It's really, really handy. It's very nice in a tournament setting to host your tournaments. They have club functions. You get win rates. There's a lot of nice little details in there. And it's very narrative driven as well. You have like your character and they kind of progress through a story depending on your win rate. But I mostly use it for the competitiveness and keeping track of the game. It's very easy to use and open for everyone, and you can just go in and see the game state live. So if your friend is playing, you just go into Millarchy, you check their game, and you can see it being updated in real time. It's very cool. So check out that link for sure. Without further ado, let's head into the game. Let's see how it goes. Take care.